You ready? You know if Christian's coming? Mary, we don't know if Christian's coming. Do you want to sit up here? Okay, okay, okay. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order with a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jessica, statement of publication, please.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 12th day of November, 2024 has been posted and advertised in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Polisi.
Here.
Anoha. Roberts.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Sprowski.
Okay, Council President, you have the floor.
First, I move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote subject to correction if necessary, the regular and agenda meeting.
Second.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes. Next item.
Mayor, we received the results of the referendum, and I make a motion to direct the business administrator to engage special counsel to advise us on the best process to move forward to preserve the firehouse.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
This is for the council to look at the best way to,
To direct the business administrator. Have you looked at some of the ordinances that have come around?
I'm gonna vote no on this.
Okay.
Polisi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
And because we did listen to what people had said about other things, I do want to make a motion to adjust our time that we use from 3 minutes back to 5 minutes. So I want to make a motion to amend that ordinance at this point.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Missed you.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
That's a great motion to introduce by title, the ordinance change, we change it back to 5 minutes. Correct? Because ordinance, so that if you could do an ordinance introduction on first reading by title and then prepare the change 3 and 5, then you could do a second reading next. Or the resolution to direct us. to
We have
prepare-
2 meetings left in the year, so,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'll allow 5 minutes going
You can do it, But if
forward.
you did need the ordinance that we were updating, it's 29-24. Okay, thank you.
Prepare that
Well-
for the next.
Okay,
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
okay. With that, we have executive session with the attorney.
Yep, let me.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's to discuss the Board of Ed litigation and an Oprah matter.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 20 to 30 minutes to discuss the following matters: litigation. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Your motion?
Make a motion?
Is there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts, Balca, Colisi,
Yes.
Stenarski.
Yes. Mary? We're not gonna.
I make a motion to return to open?
Second.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Halisi.
Yes.
Narski.
Yes.
Public hearing on the following ordinance, ordinance number 46-24, ordinance amending construction fee schedule for the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex.
This time, are there any comments on this ordinance? There being no comments, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Belker.
Move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Halisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 47-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance regarding late fees for motel licenses.
At this time, I'm going to entertain any comments on ordinance 4724. Are there any? Being no comments, I'll entertain it.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Halisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance 48-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance accepting deed of easement dedication from Parlin Executive Center LLC over a portion of Block 30, Lot 1.01.
This time, I'm going to open up the public portion for any comments on this ordinance. Are there any comments? Being no comments, Councilman Falcon.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Halisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance 49-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance repealing ordinances, section 2-54A, titled Regulations on Contributions due to the preemption provisions of the Elections Transparency Act, Public Law 2023, Chapter 30.
This time, I'm going to open the public portion. Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson from Parlin. I'm glad that it appears on some things you've either seen the light or felt the heat. If you only had listened 10 months ago, things would be a lot better. But I want to talk about the pay-to-play ordinance. We all know that the mayor has an $85,000 dark money committee. Donors are not disclosed, and the chairman of that committee from South Jersey is the mayor's chief of staff. He was recently appointed the deputy executive director of SARA, the group that makes recommendations on pilots, tax giveaways for wealthy companies. There's a potential conflict there that's obvious, and the opportunity for corruption is not difficult to imagine. I checked, and nothing prohibits the mayor from voluntarily releasing the names of those who contributed to that secret $85,000 committee. Mayor, you, Stash, John, Mike, you all ran last year on transparency. And I would urge you to release those names and not use that fund to raise money to bankroll future campaigns. And as we saw on Tuesday, all of that money really didn't help much, and it probably hurt. And if none of the contributions are associated with builders, none are associated with pilots, none are associated with people who have gotten appointments or jobs or favorable land use decisions or favors, that will reassure the public who obviously have concerns about the way things have been running in town. And I think the ordinance, the existing ordinance or a new ordinance, should contain a provision that says that no one who sits on the council or the major boards, such as the Planning Board, SARA, the Zoning Board of Adjustment, or no one who can grant favors or has a high-ranking position in administration or on SARA should be associated with a fund that raises any disclosed or dark money to bankroll campaigns. That would assure the public that everything is above board, that corruption is not just something you put on a mailer paid for, ironically, by a secret committee, but something there, but there's a real concern about preventing corruption. And I ask you to please restore the public's faith with respect to what goes on in town. And as I was coming in, I was reminded of the story of when former Mayor John McCormick, sat where you now sit, Kennedy. And he had a dentist, and he probably won't like me telling this story, but he doesn't like a lot of what he hears at these meetings. So we'll just chalk it up as one other thing. He had a dentist who came before a land use board, and the dentist was denied. So he changed dentists. He didn't say, see my chief of staff, who's also my political fundraiser. He didn't say, pony up to this secret fund. He didn't talk to any of the board members and say, hey, this is my dentist. Give the guy a break. He didn't say a thing. Dentist was denied. The mayor was embarrassed. And he changed dentists. You know what? And that, people had faith in government because that's the way he behaved as mayor. And I think, Mayor, I would suggest that you take a lesson from that. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions or comments on it? Any other comments on the
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopt,
I'm sorry.
It is me.
I'm sorry.
yes. And I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law. And Mayor, if I may, can I ask our attorney to explain that the state statute overrides anything we have?
Oh, we need to
Okay.
finish this. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Goddard. Yes. Falco.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, Councilperson, so just to answer that question, so, the legislature last year passed a law that reformed campaign finance, and there's a lot of things to it, but one of the things they did is specifically preempt local municipalities from having their own pay-to-play rules. The problem is that, some towns, like Fayetteville, had, local ordinances, but they were not consistent, they were inconsistent with each other, so if you were a, vendor, you might make a donation in one town, and not realize it's impacting another town, it caused a lot of confusion, caused a lot of problems. And so, what the legislature did is say, there was, state legislature was putting laws for what they should, and make what can. So, what this does, removes your now defunct, and invalid part of your ordinance. You were still bound by state pay-to-play rules, removing pay-to-play restrictions, saying that apply to every elected official, every municipal elected official. And it also makes sure that your public understands that, the basis you have on the books, you're still bound by the constitution. So, that's where you're at with stuff.
Follow-up question. Could we codify the state's rules and put them in our code? No, we couldn't do
There's
that.
no one state that will preempt it. The problem is that, one, there's no reason to do it, practice it. And two, you're searching it, they come up in our court, yeah, it doesn't go so right. I think that the problem you would potentially have is that if the state were to change something, like as an example, the nation will go up, and one of the things that they change with it, where they have index down, so like, that way they don't have to do a whole law every year. They have Eli comes in and says, let it, with the same amount. But they didn't change it that way. You're now at a.
Okay, next item, Jessica. Yes. Tonight, I would like to appoint to the Human Relations Committee, full term Anthony Sposado. Is there a motion on this? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Valka.
Yeah.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, Anthony. Okay, resolutions?
Yep, it's open to the public.
Yeah, at this time, I'm gonna open to the public for comments on the resolutions. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. My comments on Jim Robinson, Parlin, on resolutions have to do mostly with the bill list. Well, no, I'm sorry. There's a resolution, $695,000 for improvements to Cheesequake Road. We just spent a lot of money on Cheesequake Road. Are the warehouses paying for this? Is this connected to the warehouses or the tremendous amount of truck traffic we'll have there as a result of those warehouses? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a question.
Mayor, the
Well, we're
warehouses,
making a lot of progress tonight, Mayor.
the borough received a grant of approximately $400,000 for improvements to Cheesequake Road. It's going to extend from the warehouse
Okay.
site going toward Bordentown Avenue. They're not paying for it.
Okay, thank you very much. On the bill list, I saw that this month, we're paying $45,000 to JCP&L. That's for a lot of bills, a lot of things, but streetlights have been out for a year. We pay them an awful lot of money. If I had a vendor that I paid $45,000 to a month and I had an issue, I would do what I had to resolve that issue. And it's not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of safety. And I hope my comments are moot because of that executive session. But I want to talk about legal bills for a moment because the legal bills on the bus depot are piling up and we're paying both sides, as we know. Mayor, you said more than once that you had no interest in settling or assisting the Board of Education with this. We know you have a personal issue with the board, but it's time to put that aside. The council is supposed to set policy. The mayor's job under the statute is to carry out those policies. A one-man show with the mayor calling all the shots and the taxpayers paying all the bills just isn't working. Tuesday's election showed that the people aren't happy with that arrangement. The council needs to do its job. They have to set policy. They have to find a way to settle this suit by locating the depot in an appropriate area and end the money bleed. The two members of the council are former members of the Board of Education. Councilman Balka, who's been on the right side of this issue since day one when you were on the school board, and you continue to be on the right side, and John Dabrowski, who's, interestingly enough, who's campaigned for the Board of Education I ran many years ago. So you two guys have an interest in this because of your connection to the board. Mayor, you've had your fun, you made your point. On Tuesday, the people made their point. Maybe you won't do this, but I would ask the council, I would urge the council, do your jobs and resolve this. I hope that's what you were talking about in executive session. I hope you have found a way to resolve this for the benefit of the people and the taxpayers and the students, because we're one community. We're all in this together. Thank you. Can you use the microphone, please?
On? Sure it's on. Mayor, as a quick comment, obviously, I'm not going to discuss what was discussed in closed session, but just a reminder for the public that we continue to review both litigation and resolution strategies at all times with all of our litigation. And just as a reminder that this is one where we are the defendant, which means, and it's not just a money issue, it's also a specific performance issue. So while there may be various ways of potentially resolving the litigation, it's not as simple as somebody sues us for, $100,000 and we pay them $100,000 and it goes away. It's more complicated, but we continue to look at both defending the litigation but also solutions to resolving it.
Are there any other comments? Anthony?
Thank you, Mayor. I sat on the planning board that was part of the application, the capital review of the bus depot. And the reasons that I took a stand against the bus depot being placed where it was were because residents had approached us and had concerns that there had not been an environmental study done. No worries. Residents had brought forward concerns in that planning board meeting that there had not been an environmental study done. There had not been a traffic study done. And in the survey that was sent out to all borough residents, the two issues that residents identified that impacted them most greatly were the environment and traffic. So because of those reasons, I asked the superintendent to come back to the drawing board. And on the strength of 1,000 write-in votes in a losing campaign for Board of Education, I did hear with frequency, residents want this resolved. And so I just want to bring that voice to this dais specifically. I do also have a question if Council President Roberts is able to have a bit of a back and forth. This is just about the recreation improvement grant. I know that we canceled a teen night earlier in the year, and there were issues about charging kids to participate. And I feel like I remember hearing that the recreation budget had not increased for a while, that they were working with the same amount of money year over year. So I don't know if this dais is able to consider increasing the amount of budget that is allocated to the recreation department. My son has certainly been a beneficiary of a lot of really good programs coming out of that department. So I don't know if there's an opportunity for additional funding to be spent for recreation.
We're starting to formulate the budget. We're cognizant of the fact that there's been an expansion of recreational activities. We plan more for next year, and there will have to be an equivalent increase in the rec budget. As to what that will be, it's too early in the budget process to do. But we plan to expand programs considerably moving into next year.
Okay, so there is a commitment at least to
Yes.
increasing. Okay, all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Are there other comments? Seeing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public portion. I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
For a second,
Second.
roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 202, 248, the Adelex bill, I'm going to abstain on. And yes on everything else.
Halisi,
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Motion to accept the correspondence as listed.
Make a motion to receive.
Second.
For a second, roll, all in favor?
I'm going to do roll call. Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Falca.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Reports.
Mayor, I'm going to, as discussed, I have another public, so
Good luck
Mr.
in that.
Javari will be here to get you through the rest of the meeting,
Good
so
luck in that.
go easy on him, guys,
That's
please.
it. That's it. Okay, mayor and council reports, administration and finance. And Dan, if you just go right into planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Denise for her service to the borough and congratulate Danielle for her promotion. And other than that, whether working on the budget, well, starting to work on the budget in the finance and administration offices. Other than that, progress, Mayor. And then on planning and zoning, the next planning board meeting is December 4th, I believe, and progress.
Who's second?
Me.
Mike, if you would.
Yeah. So for public safety and public works, progress on both.
By the way, your guys did a very nice job setting up. for yesterday's, so, Tom, thank you.
Yes, they did. Thank you.
Recreation, Councilman Sinarski.
Recreation department's winding down. The only major thing we have left is the parade with lights. And she's calling out a holiday parade, but that's gonna be on 12/8, 6 p.m. It's gonna be coming down Main Street, starting from Carter, Village Square area. Recreation toy drive is still going on. That's gonna be going to November 30th. We could drop them off to the recreation department. I want to thank all the members of the recreation department. They really put a lot of time in personally. And it's a really good group of the directors making good charge of people. Thank you.
Okay, water, sewer, and environmental, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the environmental meeting recently. It was a very productive meeting, a wonderful group of people to work with. They have a lot of ideas. The garden went very well all year. I do want to say that there was an event for Flags for Heroes the day before Veterans Day that was well attended. The problem they had is that they were successful. So that's a good problem to have. So next year, hopefully it will be bigger. And I want to thank Councilman Khaleesi for all the work he did with the Rotary Club who sponsored that. It was a very, very nice event and well attended. And I just want to let everyone know the holidays are coming up. The next meeting that we have here, I will not be in attendance. I will be on the phone. I do not believe you need me to create a quorum. So I'm claiming I'm going to be off. Everyone else has to be here. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Under my report, Saraville lost a favorite son this past Monday, Mike Samuel. He was one of the most decent men I had ever met. He was a loving father, a terrific husband. He volunteered tirelessly and endlessly at St. Sands. He was just one of those people that makes one of those lasting impressions in your life. And Mike, you will be sorely missed. You were well-liked, well-respected for your time here on earth. And I know the good Lord has you busy at work already up there. And you were just one hell of a man. It'll be a long time before I meet a man of your caliber and character. So if everyone would, if I'd ask you to join me in a moment of silence for Mike Samuels, just one of the great sons of Saraville. Thank you. Okay, general discussion items, Jessica.
Application for a person-to-person transfer for the following, PRCL number 1219-33-52009 from Jahanvi Mehta to Bombay Suites located at 99 Route 9, Parlin. All reports and paperwork have been filed.
Okay,
Authorization for the tax collector to refund 2023 and 2024 taxes and cancel all subsequently billed taxes due to 100% disabled veteran tax exemption covering Block 435.04, Lot 27, 106 Merritt Ave, in the amount of $14,651.73.
next item.
Authorization to renew Reliance Insurance Group as our insurance broker for health services for the year 2025.
Next item.
Authorization to execute a contract renewal with North American Insurance Management Corp. to serve as risk management consultants for the years 2025.
Anything else?
Authorization to award a contract to Continental Fire and Safety for extrication equipment through NJ State Contract in an amount not to exceed $100,546.10.
Next item.
Authorization to renew a contract for animal control services with Associated Humane Society and the Borough for January 2025 through December 31st, 2025 in the amount of $105,000.
Next item.
Authorization to advertise for bids for a pole barn at the Saraville Active Adult Center.
Next item.
And the last item is authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to JP Gager, Inc. for sewer grinder in amount not to exceed $35,373.
Thank you. Business Administrator.
Authorization to promote Danielle Myrana to CFO in the Finance Department effective December 1st, 2024.
Next item.
Authorization to appoint Michelle Dunn as per diem dispatcher in the Police Department effective November 16th, 2024.
To CFO's report.
Budget transfer resolution, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Anything else, Denise? Okay. Borough Engineers report.
Thank you, Mayor. 3 items this evening. First is the well maintenance. That's the borough's annual contract. We're receiving bids this coming Thursday. If everything's in order, need a resolution awarding the contract at the next meeting. Second item, the Morgan Avenue Water Improvement Project's been completed, recommending a closeout change order, which is going to be a net reduction of in excess of $100,000. Then we need a resolution to approve that closeout. And then finally, the Bordentown Avenue Water and Sewer Project, the DOT is going to do improvements to Bordentown Avenue near Eugene Boulevard. That's going to require some work to our borough water and sewer lines. So there's an agreement that allows them to reimburse the borough for this work. So just a resolution authorizing the execution of that agreement. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Borough Attorney's report.
Nothing further at this time.
Okay. With that, I'll open the public portion for comments. Frank?
Frank Terzino at 32 Canal Street. I was gonna say what you said, Mayor, about Mike Samuels. He was a hell of a guy, and he's gonna be missed. So thank you for bringing that up.
A man like that.
This is true. Yep, there's not many of us around. I want to thank, first of all, yesterday at the museum, we had, I think it was yesterday, Lieutenant Holman, a serial hero, we had a Zoom meeting with him. He was in Pennsylvania. We were at the museum. We Zoomed it. He gave a story about his life. It's amazing what this man did. And we were there in July, I could mention, and we're going to have our video. We're going to clean up our video, but we're going to have it out there to get the full story. He was a hell of a guy in World War II from Sierra, lived on Henry Street. I'd like to thank Council President Roberts for recommending special counsel to save the firehouse. Would you be kind to introduce a designation tonight to local historic landmark? That's correct.
Frank, I said we were looking into it and we don't have the authority to do that yet.
Okay, just asking. We'll look, the Cerebral Historical Site looks forward to working with you guys and see what we can do. And I think we put our heads together and I think we do something really cool. But thank you for bringing that up and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Ken Olszewski. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Councilwoman-elect Mary Novak and Councilman Sinarski on their victory last week. And Mary Novak was I might note, was the high vote getter. So good job and thank you. To say I'm overwhelmed tonight would be an understatement. Hearing talk about going back to a 5-minute public portion or public time limit meetings is a step in the right direction. I especially like to congratulate Councilman Balka and Councilman Anoha because they never agreed to that in the first place. But no mistake about it, I'm not taking away from anyone else because learning from your mistakes is a very important thing. So with that, I extend congratulations to everyone, especially to those two gentlemen. I'm going to talk a little about the firehouse. The mayor put communication out and said, you know, how ridiculous it was for millions of taxpayers' dollars to be used on an unused, unwanted firehouse. Since the referendum won by a 2-to-1 margin, I don't think the public felt that way. The only ones probably were disappointed in that was the mayor and probably the developers, because I think the residents of town, they value the historic aspect of their community. And not only those that were lifelong residents like myself, there were too many positive votes for just that. There were plenty of positive votes from people that probably haven't been in town all that long. So I think that's another valuable lesson that's learned. And this historic designation, I'm not quite sure why it can't be done tonight. And the idea, I hope this is just not some more bureaucratic nonsense to come up with some other kind of a scheme. But all we need is historic designation for this firehouse. And the idea that the grants aren't available, like the mayor said, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he condemned that idea. I think people like Frank and Art and some of these people from the Historic Society have done one hell of a job for Sayreville in that. I think it's something we can be proud of. And I think they know what they're talking about. I would certainly take their word for it more than I would take the word of a politician. The other thing that, just quickly, I know my time is up. The other thing I'd say, while you're restoring things, please take a look at Zoom meetings because you're hurting people who can't get to these meetings. Former Councilman Drawl stood up here and said that was a mistake to take those away. He said even himself, from injuries during his service, sometimes he can't make this meeting. So please look at restoring Zoom meetings while you're restoring things that were rather foolish. I would like to say, as far as Mike Samuel, I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him very well. I met him a couple of times, but I agree with everything said and certainly extend condolences to his family for tragically what happened. And I can tell you something else. If this continues to restore things that were taken away, you might not even see me coming at meetings anymore. So I'm sure that'll make everybody smile. Thank you very much.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson, Parlin. Mayor, I agree with your comments, your very nice comments on Mike Samuel, and I too extend my condolences. I came here tonight because I wanted to congratulate my friend Stash on his very strong second place finish Tuesday. As you all know, anybody who looked at the results, there was a Republican tsunami in Sayreville, except for the O'Brien team that the mayor worked so hard to elect and the firehouse referendum that he worked so hard to defeat. And Stash, you and I had this discussion. If you're going to be on a team, be on the people's team. Be on the taxpayers' team. Be on the no dark money team. Be on the free speech team. Be on the answer question team. Those are the winning teams. Those are the teams the people of Sayreville want you to be on. And I hope this election sent a message about to whom you owe your loyalty. It's not to it's not to an Ayatollah, it's to the people. And they spoke clearly. And the ironic thing is, you know, if Christian, and no disrespect to anybody, but if Christian had run, he probably would have won. He probably would have won because he embodies those principles. You know, I was at this very wonderful ceremony yesterday, and one of the people there said to me, if you go to the meeting, tell them when the Devils, the Giants, and the Jets lose, they fire their coach. And I thought that was pretty intuitive of the person. But this is a good time to remind you what a weak mayor, strong council form of government is. It means the council is in charge. The council sets policy. The council adopts the ordinances. The council settles lawsuits. The council decides on historic designations. The mayor's job, according to statute, is to faithfully carry out the policies and ordinances that the council adopts. And the council can, and in fact did, delegate many of the executive responsibilities to the administrator. And just read the statute. All executive responsibilities not specifically given to the mayor by law remain with the council. I assume a lot of you are going down to the League of Municipalities next week. Just ask them, what is the role of the mayor in a borough form of government? It won't be a long answer. It won't take a long time for that discussion. The mayor presides over meetings, votes in case of a tie, and most appointments require council approval. Strong council, weak mayor. That's the law in a borough. And Mayor, I applaud your election statement calling for bipartisanship. Mary Novak received 9,471 votes Tuesday, more than any of you sitting up here. The last time you ran, Mayor, you got under 5,300 votes. The only thing that outpolled Mary was the firehouse, which got an amazing 10,667 votes. And I have a great idea to promote the bipartisanship you speak of, Mayor. As the high vote getter, in the spirit of bipartisanship and transparency, this council should elect Mary the council president in 2025. That would show that you are sincere in your comments about transparency and bipartisanship. And I also want to congratulate the Historical Society and the voters. The Historical Society put forth a well-researched, fact-based argument, and voters recognize that. The sad irony is that while they didn't ask for a dime, because of that referendum, 66% of the people said, yeah, let's spend the $3 million to preserve it. I think the expression for what you did, not you, Councilman Balco or Anoha, but the rest did, is you were too cute by half. And if you don't do the designation so they can get grants, it could cost us that $3 million. So I wasn't really impressed with that motion in the beginning because it signaled to me you didn't do what they asked for. You didn't designate or make a motion to designate a historical. You made a motion to have the administrator talk to the attorney about finding ways to do something. We know how to do it. Tuesday taught us anything. It's people don't like the games that we're playing. So do the right thing. Give them the historic designation. They are the experts. If you followed any of the things that they did, they know what they're talking about. They know what has to be done. They made the contacts for the grants. They can do this. That's what they asked for in the beginning. And had we done this when they asked for it months ago, who knows where we would have been? We know this. We wouldn't have paid $27,000 in borough taxpayer money for the engineering study. A grant could have covered that. So let's do what they asked for once. You made some inroads tonight, listening to the people on some things. I even got a question answered, believe it or not. Let's not stop now, okay? Let's do what they asked for. They know more about this than anybody else. And, you know, and maybe at least have the attorney talk to them. The attorney was supposed to talk to them in drawing that referendum. That never happened. Okay, so you've come this far tonight. You're making some progress. I want to have faith that this is sincere. Work with the Historical Society. Don't try and form a commission to go around them, to circumvent them. You don't need the attorney to research that. They've done the research. They know what has to be done. Please, you saw the vote. You saw what the people want. Do what the people want. Thank you very much for your time.
Are there any other comments? Duff?
Bob Duffy, 111 Merritt Avenue. First place, I have a comment, but I want to say I'm not against any organization collecting money, okay? I spoke to the county on your towing course at Ernston and Washington Road that you just did, I think, 2 meetings ago on the 23rd and 24th of November. The county got back to me and said they never issued a permit for Sayreville, ever. And if they did issue a permit, a police officer has to be on site present. Well, this is what they told me, head of transportation. Okay, do I have to go down? Do I have to go down to county and
You can,
get the
Bob.
paperwork and bring it up?
You can.
Okay,
You
all right.
can.
I'm only going by what they told me
Bob,
because I
we've been
asked them.
doing this for a lot of years, and the process is you first get the county and then you bring it to the borough.
Okay. Well, and on the
So
23rd,
the clerk is saying that they
We
did get
received letters.
county.
It's not from the Department of Transportation. It's Public Works. They approve them.
okay.
That's the process.
Okay, I spoke to secretary, and then the gentleman
Yeah.
from transportation that handles the permits called me and told me that they never issued one over the year. I'm just saying it's a liability thing.
You have it in the office? Yeah, okay. We have the permission from the
Oh.
county. So they followed the process. The permission was granted by the county and then a week or two.
On the 23rd and 24th?
Yeah.
Okay,
Received approval from the Department of Public Works. That's who approves the coin toss.
okay. I'm only going by.
No,
I don't-
that's the process we followed for decades.
Well, if you did, why did they come back and said they never did issue a
Can't answer,
permit?
can't answer.
That's a different department. that you spoke with.
I
If you,
don't know the answer to that
they
question.
give approvals from the Public Works Department from the county.
Public Works? Okay.
I have letters.
Well, I spoke to several secretaries and then finally the head of transportation called me back. And I'm just looking at a liability
I understand.
thing.
And I thank
because
you.
the people, we have an influx of people in our country that never had driver's license and drivers, you know, someone's going to get hurt and that's a busy corner now. You know what I mean? I mean, 10 years ago it was not bad. Now it's tremendous. So I'm just looking out for my tax dollars. I have can I ask Jay a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Jay, that road, Cheesequake Road that's being done, was that on the list of roads to be done? I know you have a list of roads that are priority in the township.
This was the subject of a grant application the borough made to the DOT. DOT typically requests heavily traveled roads when they issue grants. That's why Cheesequake Road was selected by the Public Works Department.
Okay. So
So
all the other roads in Sayreville, the township, street roads, not commercial roads, there's a list you have with the priorities. So this Cheesequake wasn't on that list.
Well, the Public Works Department selects the roads that are made, that we make grant applications for, as well as what the ordinance covers. Cheesequake Road was in a prior ordinance adopted a couple of years ago
Okay.
for funding.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Robert.
Appreciate it.
Are there any other comments? Mary?
Mary Novak, One Scarlet Drive. Beautiful words about Michael Samuels. What I always remember about him is that man always was running around. He was always sweaty, but he always had a smile on his face. No matter how hard he worked, he always had a smile. And he will be sadly missed by the entire town. And Denise, I just wanted to say how great it was working with you. And I'm only sad that I won't get to do that again before you retire. But please enjoy your retirement. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Are there any other comments? Anthony?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start this evening just by thanking our veterans. Yesterday's service was beautiful. It was the first Veterans Day celebration that my son has been able to be part of, that I felt it was appropriate at his age to be a part of. Yesterday was amazing, with the exception of the gunfire that he was not expecting, which elicited a very loud expletive from my 8-year-old and a moment of silence, which has become a funny moment in our family at this point. I did also want to share on the record that the Middlesex County Office of Workforce and Career Development is going to be hosting a job fair called the Thank You for Your Service Job Fair for veterans specifically. So it is to assist with veterans and their families as they transition to civilian careers to find a position that they can continue to grow and evolve in. That will be held November 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the YMCA at the Piscataway Community Center, 520 Hose Lane. They are encouraging advanced registration. Is that possible that we can put that on a borough website? Or
Yes, instructor.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, right after this. That would be great. Thank you. Mayor, back in June, you and I had a conversation privately and publicly. This month is Veterans Day, and I would love for the council to consider declaring November officially Veterans Remembrance Month as a borough, to issue either as a proclamation or to consider some sort of an established recurring yearly celebration where we can continue to come out and honor the service of our men and women who have served. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'm grateful for the service of Councilman Balka and certainly of Councilman Anoha. I wanted to speak specifically. I was glad to see Mary return to the council. I was glad to see Stash reelected. But we are losing someone who cared greatly about the community in Councilman Anoha. I've been to plenty of these meetings. I don't ever remember a former council president rolling their eyes at the mention of another councilman. When I went to Councilwoman Jim Ford's memorial service at Epic Church, I saw Councilman Anoha speak with an incredible amount of courage about Councilwoman Jim Fore. And I noticed everybody who shook that councilman's hand that night, and I noticed who did not. As we enter into a new phase of our council, I want to encourage our council to embrace the next session with the same spirit of bipartisanship that I saw Mary embrace, Christian embrace. When Mayor Kilpatrick was on the dais, I think that her mayorship was strengthened by strong Republicans. I do. I think they weren't afraid to have debates out loud that were sometimes messy, that were sometimes, I'll just say messy. But those debates happened. And I think that Democrats strengthened the opinions of Republicans and vice versa. I would encourage the new council to continue to move forward in that same spirit of bipartisanship. We have one Democrat who is going to be on that borough council, but our residents spoke and they sent one Republican and one Democrat. I am hopeful that when my 8-year-old continues to watch and be involved, that he sees people who are willing to do as the Historical Society did. Embrace good work from all people, not just some people, no matter what their political leanings may be, to work towards the betterment of the borough and to accomplish specific goals that are important to our residents. So it is my hope to see a return to a bit more bipartisanship. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments? Being no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Is there a second? Roll call. All in favor? Okay, before we go to adjournment, a couple of things. My relationship with the Board of Education is, when I became mayor in 2000, I made an arrangement with the Board of Education at the time, which was, you have a lot of work to do with the Board of Education. I have a lot of work to do with the borough as best we can. We'll each take care of our responsibilities. As far as the bus depot, I was off from 2000 to 2024, and this is what I call inheritances. When you become a mayor, you inherit certain things, and I inherited the bus depot. This is something the Board of Education has to work on. I'm not a fellow who hides out. I'm pretty visible around town. I go to the football games. I go to the functions at the high school. I am open to anybody at any time. So that being said, I'm not criticizing the Board of Education, but I'm certainly available. The members of the governing body are available. The BA is available. When they're ready, when they have a solution that they want to bring to us, that's fine. We're ready. But I don't know the direction that they're going in, because I'm in charge of the borough issues. They're in charge of the school board issues. So when they're ready, they will contact probably my Glenn, and then we'll sit down and we'll try to get this stuff. We'll try to see what kind of help we can be to them. Second thing, anybody that feels that I am doing something illegal, I strongly urge you to go to the prosecutor. I have been sitting up here for 21 years, and if you think that I am taking, number one, you're incredibly wrong. But I would say go to the prosecutor and share, bare your soul to him, and then it will take the course that it takes. As there was a tremendous amount of misinformation. As far as the building next door, the old firehouse, as far as I know, there were never any developers. I don't remember one, and in this term as mayor, when somebody wants to do something, they come to my office and they make an appointment, and we have a discussion. I have not had one discussion for anybody that wants to redo the firehouse. Not one. There has been no inquiries that have come to me from anyone other than the Historical Society about the old, the 1909 building. So that was really horrific misinformation. That being said, I do my best. My wife was my my wife did all my customer service work for 20 years. And the reason I did not run in 2020 was my wife fell ill and my place was by her side. It was a decision I have no problem making. I would make the same decision again. She's well, but she's just not up to doing the customer service. The email address for the mayor of Sayreville has been, from the beginning of email in the borough, mayor@sayreville.com. For whatever reason, when my staff walked in January, there were 6,000 unopened, unresponded to emails from the residents of Sayreville. That is why I have a staff, because coming out of a successful business of 35 years, it's all about customer service. When I talk to people about around town, it's customer service. That's what they want. What I was trying to avoid in looking over the public meetings that had been going on for the previous 4 years, where there were just people that would get up and talk ad infinitum about nothing, accomplish nothing, and the meetings would go to 11 o'clock, which was silly and non-productive. We're here to run a service business, whether it's picking up the garbage, plowing the snow, picking up the leaves. We have 70 parks, small, medium, and large. We have a free public library. We have 24/7 police, fire, and first aid. That is the business that we're in, providing those services. So what we did do was, when the Historical Society came to us, we said, well, we'll put it on a referendum. We'll see what the people want to do with their money, which is exactly what we did. And the people said, we want to spend the money on the building. Okay. It's a complete and total lie and fabrication that there was a builder or we had plans to turn that into anything. Now, since in the 1990s, it was determined that we needed a new public works garage, and we have been toying around with that for 24 years. That is something that has always been on the drawing board. And Mary, you know that from 2020, 1999, we have been trying to do a new public works garage for a quarter of a century. That is our interest. The firehouse was just here, it's in disrepair, it's gonna cost a lot of money, but the people want to spend it, which was why we put it on a referendum. What do you want us to do with your money? Do you want to put it here? And they said, yeah, we want to put it, we want you to invest money there. Okay, we'll do that. And that's what we're gonna do. So that being said, I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.